Hey everybody, surprise. I'm kind of coming on here live and unannounced. Um, I want to just, I figure like I need to be here. I need to be here with all of you. Okay, you see that this lovely beach in the background, this ocean in the background, and this is where I feel like I want to be. So I figure like, let's go ahead and put our minds in the places we want to be. And so short of doing kind of like a full on meditation right now, let's go ahead and do that together. Let's just be where we want to be in our minds, irrespective of what's happening right now. There's a lot of pain going on right now. There's a lot of craziness that's happening in the world, all over the place. A lot of impacts that are happening with people, including me. I'll talk to you about that here in a minute. But I think that in the end, we need to get set in our minds and focus on moving forward, and that's what I'm doing. And so I'm hoping that today I'll talk a little bit about that with you. So today I want to share a little bit about what my COVID journey is looking like right now, and when it started, and then also share with you three things that I have been doing consistently to keep my mind in a more forward-thinking way instead of looking and being so focused on today with my head in the sand. But before I get started, if there's anybody joining, please make sure that you actually tell me. So I'm going to look right now. So if you're seeing me look down, it's because I'm looking at my phone to see who's actually joining. And when you go on, let me know who you are. So who are you? Are you out there in the world? And also, can you just drop one positive word, something that you can think of, just one positive word in the comments of how you're feeling just today, right now, one positive word. And then we'll talk about maybe a word that may not feel as much positive, but one positive word would be amazing right now. So here we go. Let me look. Okay, I can never quite see. Oh, I see somebody joining. Yay! That looks like that's Lissa Marie Hansard. So thank you for joining. And just here's the thing. We are all going through a really tough time. And I'm not on this beach behind me. I'm in Colorado. And by the way, it's gorgeous here too. My COVID journey, here's what it's looked like so far. About 3 weeks ago, I was in Chicago right before it was already there, but it was not at the height of everything. And I was there at this conference called No Longer Virtual with a few of my best friends at a summit that was there. And it was amazing to be there. But as I was sitting there, I was getting text messages from my husband. I was seeing all the stuff in the news, and my anxiety went way, way up. And then I got on the plane, and I was just happy to get home and happy not to have any symptoms when I returned, because I know they wouldn't let me let that pass without saying something about it. So that started there. And then we got news, shortly thereafter that my kids would be home. And I have 4 children. So I'm at home right now with 4 children, and I'm in the basement with my green screen behind me in my unfinished basement. And they are upstairs all spread about, doing their distance learning. And it's been interesting. I've had some ups and some downs. And so that would be, feeling like, woe is me, not showering for a couple of days. I have been there. And if any of you have ever seen my TED Talk on transforming adversity into opportunity, you know that I believe it's important to take that time to rest into and sit into some of the pain, the sorrow, the anxiety that we have. And then it's time to stop it. It's time to just snap the heck out of it. And I'm in that spot right now where I'm snapping out of it. And I wanted to share with you a few things that I'm doing now every day to try to make sure that I stay in more of a forward-looking way. And what I mean by that is often what happens is we get so stuck in the right here, right now, and our minds cannot get out of it, and we cannot move past it. And so whether you are someone who is managing a workforce remotely, whether you're someone who's a solopreneur and you're in your home and you're by yourself, or you're with your family and your kids, we have to first make a decision. And the decision is a choice, right? How are we going to make our minds make us feel like we're sitting right here on this beach, right? Where we can be at peace with what's happening around us and we can continue to move forward. So 3 things I'm doing right now to move forward. And I have some messages I want to tell you at the end as well. So make sure you stay on. But the 3 things I'm doing is I'm showering. Yeah, I know for people who are working from home right now, you may be in pajamas, and I guarantee that getting in that shower, rinsing off all the craziness is super helpful. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm trying to work on some things every day. And I'll talk about the things I'm working on, but trying to work on some new things every day that make me feel like I'm moving forward in a positive direction. And then one of the things I do right here in this basement that you can't see, that's unfinished and looks like a madhouse right now, is I make sure I get up in the morning and I do a workout. Because I feel like that is what I was already doing, and I kind of got away from it, and now I'm back just full-fledged in it. And it's because I want to keep my mind in that place where it's a consistent place. It's one of positivity, and I know I'm moving physically and mentally in a better place when I do it. And then the other thing I do is I've been going on walks. So yesterday I started to do walks with my kids more consistently, and I have 4 of them. So we went with my kids, with my dog, and I call it a Dora the Explorer walk. And many years ago when they were little, some of them remember them, some of them did not, where we would go around and we would look for bugs, and we would look at water streams, and we would drop leaves in them and see which direction they flowed. And we would just look, are there birds? Are there eagles around? And we just focused on what the environment was telling us and how we were connecting more. It was a really beautiful day. And I think it's going to be another one today. And so going on walks is another one of the things that I've been doing to kind of, again, keep myself in I'm not saying positive, because I want to say forward looking, because that's really what we need to do now, is be looking forward looking and figuring out what this future is going to be, this new future is going to be for us. And in the moment, working in that direction, even if we don't know what that is right now, because all of us are, including me, are super anxious about what the future might hold. But for me, faith, and this idea of controlling my mindset, I'm able to keep looking forward and not be so strung out on the current craziness. So some of the things I'm working on right now that get me excited. Some of you already know I'm working on my next book, and that has been slow going. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. So if you're my publisher and you're watching this, sorry, it's happening though. And that is because I have the kids here. And so when we found out last week, when we knew they had to start doing distance learning, it put me through a whole bunch of things, particularly with my youngest child, who really needed to have that support system right in the beginning. And my 3 oldest are able to mostly are self-sufficient. And so they're not as loud, and they know we have to get things done. So now I've been really trying to focus on getting myself completely organized on the book, and now choosing my workspace separate from where everybody else is at to get that book written, because I have a June 1st deadline. So it has to get done. Some of the other things I'm doing, I'm working on online courses. As someone who puts out a lot of content, there might be a need for the stuff that I have to say, but now in a virtual space, because one of the things that has happened is I do professional speaking. I'm a professional speaker. And so one of the things I do is I travel, and of course everything is shut down. And so how can I now help my current clients, help my future clients with content that I would ordinarily put out there in courses? So on-demand courses is one thing I'll do. I'll be focusing a little bit on some of the things that people ask me for, or help on how to get into a TEDx. And of course, we won't be doing any TEDx's anytime soon, but there could be some this year. And so I want to make sure I create a course that helps people figure out how to land those TEDx's and how to really rock the stage on the TEDx's. So I'm going to be doing a course on that, because people have really come to me a lot on that. And then I'll just be focusing on courses that are around quick caring leadership, things, tactical things that leaders will do when they're doing maybe performance reviews. But I want to make sure that I put more heart in and care into what leadership looks like. And the courses will be helping leaders in that regard. And that'll be based off, of course, a little bit on my next book is on the art of caring leadership. So I'll be doing some of those courses. And I think the other thing is really just keeping my mindset, in check, and also partnering with people a lot. I've been getting a lot of people reaching out to me. I've been reaching out to people. This is the perfect time to create new and thriving partnerships with organizations, with other leaders, to continue for me to evangelize the messages that I want to get out there, so that leaders can have a change of heart. And so doing those partnerships are a big part of that. I'm going to check and see if anybody's out there in the world, because I can't see that inside of this live streaming service. Who's actually out there. So let me see if there's someone out there. Okay, so there's, okay, look, okay, we got Linda. Hi, Linda. Fema, hello there. Grateful. I'm grateful. I love that. I love that word. A couple gratefuls. Thanks for the background, Linda. Yeah, I have lighting back there, so it helps me get this background, because right now I'm in an unfinished basement, and it doesn't look very pretty at all. So if I had to show all of you that, you would be like laughing at me. So one of the things, I was just talking to someone earlier, and one of the things that really popped up is this idea of the future of work. So we hear the future of work and AI and all of these things, right? Well, here's the thing: the future of work is right now. This is the future of work, and we don't know what it's going to look like for us in a year or 6 months or 2 years, right? We have to live right now for today. And what I mean by that is, if you are leading people, we need to be figuring out how can we help them get through this time. Are we finding ways to minimize their anxiety? We are all going through pain. We are all having anxiety through these crazy times, but it's how we show up right now that makes all the difference. I think about that TED talk I did on transforming adversity into opportunity. And boy, is that not like really, the opportunity is right now. And how do we do that? And of course, my lens is always thinking about leaders and how leaders can show up in a way that helps their people actually visualize this for themselves, right? How do we minimize it? So listen, there's furloughs happening. I've had somebody in my family who's been on furlough, and she's trying to work through and figure out what this means for her. And there's applying for unemployment, and there's all of these things. How can your organization, how can you as a leader help to own some of this process that can get super rocky? The furloughs, the thing to remember with all of this: yes, businesses are going to have to go through changes and employees are going to be impacted. Here's what I would say to you is that if you can put together processes and systems that minimize that impact for them and make it so that it's not going to be positive, because layoffs, furloughs produce more negative emotions inside of those you lead. However, it is right here, right now, that determines what your relationship will look like with your employees going forward, years to come, whether you'll have a relationship, whether they'll stay behind when things equalize and now you're able to go and they're able to go job search. And will they choose you? Will they make the choice to stay with you because you made the choice to produce more positive emotions in them by treating them with care and dignity and respect during this really tough time that your business might be facing? So it's important to remember that. There was a time some years ago where I went through a layoff, and it hurt because I was the main breadwinner of a family of 6. And my manager, during the actual layoff, the discussion of him having to lay me off, made me feel cared for. He expressed with lots of emotion and an internal pain when he had to lay me off. And I knew that he cared for me and that I wasn't just a number when he had to make that decision. And so making sure that if you are the person that has to deliver that message, that you do so with proper care and that you help your people lead with dignity. There was an HR leader at that exact time who made a choice to insure my entire family for 3 months, even though I was not even insured with that company prior to the layoff. She did that because she did appreciate and value me. And I felt that by her taking that action. Was I still laid off? Absolutely, I was still laid off. Was I on furlough? I wasn't, but are these people maybe on furlough? Absolutely they are, right? That's the reality that's there. When I think about this idea of reframing through this adversity, yes, we are in that pain. Yes, we are having to go through these changes, either laying people off or being laid off, furloughing people or being furloughed, seeing a contraction in our business so much so that maybe we've lost so much of our revenue and we're really scared right now. We are there. That is happening. How do you show up right now? How can you reframe what's happening with you right now? We cannot control what's happening out in the world. We can't, no matter how much we try and how much we worry about it. The key is that we control what we can. And the thing that we can control the most is our mindset. I'm going to take a break and look at who's making comments right now. Okay, Kathy. Thank you. I'm glad you like that message. We do have to look forward, right? We can't be stuck in this place. Andrew. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that, Andrew. Andrew said that he lost his wife a week ago because of this. There's not going to be a way to reframe past that. There just isn't. And my heart goes out to you, and I will keep your wife and you in my prayers as well. There's not going to be a way to reframe that. But here is the thing. You're going to go through a lot of grieving for a serious period of time. And then from there, you're going to have to tell yourself, how do I get out of this place mentally? Because it is I'm just telling you now, it is in our minds, most of this. So there's this reality that circles us. There's this real thing that's happening around us or to us or in our life. And it's up to us to choose how long that impacts us. Can it be? So if we go back to this TED talk that I had, Transforming Adversity into Opportunity, I talk about there that I experienced racism in my own family, that I was an outsider in my own family. And there's a lot of other stuff I don't talk about inside that TED talk. But in that situation, I spent a lifetime of feeling like, oh, I wasn't good enough, or there was just, always feeling like I was trying to be better or set myself up for success. And then it got to the point where I was like, wait a second. And this happens a lot. Wait a second. Okay, the pain is there. The reality is that I went through that. But now I have to work my way out of it. I have to get my way mentally out of it. And so I decided that I am good enough, but I have to make that decision many times a year. And then I have to take the requisite action to go forward. So for those who are suffering right now in pain because of what's happening here, for some real serious truths, real serious reasons, maybe you're on furlough, maybe you've lost someone, maybe someone's sick, maybe you're sick and you're watching this. Know that there's light. The light that's there though starts in your mind. So I started here with this background. I'm in Colorado, so I'm not anywhere near this, but in my mind, I can take myself there. And for example, going out on those walks with my kids on the Dora the Explorer, they're like, are we doing another Dora Explorer walk today? We sure are. They thought I was quirky for saying that again. They're like, I'm 16 years old and 15 and 13 and 9. But in the end, we can go on our own journeys, right? We can set up on our own walks. We can do this with other people. Now, like I'm doing this here, I can't see you. Hopefully you can see me and hear me okay. I do appreciate you joining as well. Let's see if anybody else is joining in here. So Mike, managing the mindset, some of the stuff I said earlier that I'm doing now to be a lot better in this area is to get out in the sun. If you're at a place that has sun, because I also know we can't take that for granted, and we don't have sun here every single day in Colorado, but trying to get out when you see it. Yesterday, I felt like the sun was calling me. It was calling me. Calling me to get outside and take my entire family with me. And so I think getting out in the sun, the mindset also by trying to keep whatever habits you had before, if you had positive habits. And if you didn't have positive habits, for example, like getting up in the morning, the first thing I do is I get up in the morning, I get my water, I grab a banana or whatever, and I go straight in the basement and I start working out. This basement does not look like a beautiful gym. If I were to show you, you would all probably just bust up laughing. But I think that's another way to keep my mindset. I start off my day that way. My husband, he starts off the day in prayer, and then he goes straight to whatever else he has to get done, right? So whatever it is, that thing is that puts you in a better place is how you want to start off your day. And you hear that a lot by those people, the people that make a lot of money in this world. They get up super early and they start off by, reading the paper, doing their meditations, doing their exercise. And we need to emulate that. And so the more I do that consistently, the more that I can make my mindset kind of be where it needs to be. When you go to the TED Talk, you'll see that I talk about reframing, and you see that I talk about there's kind of like a button that I press. There's like a shift that happens inside of my mind. And so what happens is if I'm in a place where I feel like, woe is me, and again, I've had that. So I'm not trying to be here on this video trying to tell you I have not had that. But when I get to that place where I feel like, woe is me, then I go, well, wait a second. This and that. Wait a second. I'm actually home. So now I'm here. I'm on different calls with people. And then my kids are all spread about the house doing their work. And I get to go upstairs and make lunch for everybody. I get to do that because of this virus. Otherwise, they'd all be at school. I'd be here. I may not even eat lunch because I'm on my phone calls. But because I know that they're here, it gives me a reason to do this thing for the family. And I feel like it's a gift to do that. So that's a reframe for some of the current things. And if you can think of ways to reframe, again, Andrew, I love this. Like, I think that setting yourself a goal and what you want to achieve and give yourself a date already tells your mind that you will come out the other side and you will achieve the goal by that date. I love that. Yeah, that's very true. Isn't it? That is so true. When you put something right out front of you, they talk about the carrot. You put something right out front and you just look at that and you keep focusing on that thing, that goal that Andrew's talking about. It really is helpful to keep focused. So for me, I know, like, instead of getting up, woe is me, I get up and go, I know my first destination is my basement to work out. Okay, what's second? I know I need to come up and make myself a shake or something. Okay, what's third? And so right now, maybe it's being really tactical, and the goals are tiny along the way at this point. That's what I would do. Let's see if there's something else in here. Yesterday was gorgeous, wasn't it? It was so amazing here. Sorry for those who aren't in Colorado, but yep, working out, showering, getting dressed in real clothes every day. Yep, that's exactly right. When I don't do that, I mean, it's nuts. Like head just not right. Mindset not good. That number one piece of advice would be to do that, I think. HR consultant. You popped up on my phone and felt compelled to join. I'm glad that you're joining. Thank you so much. I hope you stay on here. I hope more people do too. I mean, everybody's on here talking about this stuff. And I just felt like from the employee perspective and the leader perspective, I needed to hop on. And the thing I love about this is that you can share these afterward. They get saved. And so you can go on my profile and share it with other people. Hey, I mean, just looking at this view is more than enough for me. I wish I could hear the sound of the ocean. I probably need to have that playing in the background too, so I can visualize myself there even more. But the main lesson or focus I wanted to talk about really is this idea of showing up. How do you choose? Are you choosing to show up, to lead yourself? The other day I was watching Kung Fu Panda with my kids, and I don't normally want to watch animations now, but I watched it, and there was one quote where he said, basically, things are going to always happen to you, but how are you going to respond to those? How are you going to show up? And that's really what makes all the difference for you and for those around you. So, if you're a leader of people, that would be my feedback to you. If you're a leader of yourself, meaning yourself and your family, to be thinking about what Andrew's talking about and what we're talking about. Do something small every day. Do a couple, try to achieve things, set goals, achieve those. Making sure that you're consistent, maybe working out, taking walks, taking those showers makes all the difference. And smile. Purposely smile, because when you do that, for me, it makes me feel good to smile. And when I see, even like right now, I see myself and I see myself smiling, and it's hard to smile through tough times. I totally get that. And if it's not authentic, it's not going to be good. But if you can find that smile in your day to give yourself a little bit of extra oomph, do that. Do whatever you have to do to get through this time, but make sure you're there for others too. If you can, if you have it in you, have any fuel in yourself to help others, that also is another thing that helps me, is a feeling like I'm helping other people. Then it helps me feel good about myself, and it helps me feel good mentally as well. So let me see if there's anything else before we go. I'm not sure what the hot and steamy thing is, but I'm gonna not, because it could be out of context. So I'm not gonna go there, Greg. Mike, or anybody else, was there anything else that you think that would be there to help manage our mindset? Because I noticed that was one of the things, and I did give tips, but are there any other pieces of feedback on, how to have a better mindset? I gave you my tips and tricks. I would not say I'm a psychologist where I know the master of reframe, but in my life, I've done that quite a bit. And so I would definitely offer that as that piece of always thinking about, think of the switch that's in your mind. Switch it on and off and make a choice. Well, let's see. What's the green? What's the good, right, in all of this? What does the other side look like for me? But just show up as your best self. We will trip. We will falter. We won't be perfect. But always trying to commit to show up as our best selves, even in a time like this. Be there for people. Be there for yourself. And take care. Have a great one. Thanks for joining. Bye. From my pretend ocean.